Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today I will tell you the top 10 mistakes you shouldn't make when dealing with hair loss. Mistake number 1, living in denial. When you're dealing with hair loss, the worst thing you can do if you actually want to regrow and reverse your hair loss is ignoring the fact that you are losing your hair. And what I mean by that is that the earlier you catch your hair loss, the more likely you are to actually reverse and regrow your hair quicker. And I know losing your hair is not an easy thing, so I don't judge anyone for living in denial while losing their hair, because it's easier to ignore it than to deal with it. But just know that time is not on your side, and if you ignore it for too long, it may be impossible to do anything else other than a hair transplant, which obviously also works, but you will still have to take Finasteride and Minoxidil or PRP or another treatment in order to maintain your hair on top after a hair transplant, that you might as well just save all your money and deal with it as soon as you find out that you're suffering from hair loss. And this brings me to point number 2. Don't misdiagnose your hair loss. Although I'm personally suffering from male pattern baldness, androgenic alopecia, which is genetic hair loss, people can still experience hair loss without having male pattern baldness. So for instance, is your hair loss genetic? Do you have a family history of people losing their hair? And in that case, maybe you can talk to them, consult a doctor to see what type of hair loss you're actually experiencing. Hair loss can come from a majority of things, including stress, lack of sleep, lack of certain vitamins, hormonal imbalances, etc. So it's really important to get your diagnosis first before treatment, because no treatment is without side effects. So you want to make sure you have at least the right diagnosis before you start your treatment. Which also brings me to point number 3. Making purchase decisions based on desperation. I both studied and actually currently work in marketing, so I know how notorious the industry can be. Companies will go to such long lengths to prove to you that their product is the best product ever and that it can cure all your problems, and in this case hair loss. That being said, when I was experiencing hair loss in 2019, I was new to the entire industry. As I'm telling you not to make a mistake, I made that mistake. I actually went out and I went to a hair clinic which told me I should take their special shampoo, their highly effective conditioner. I should jump on their secret formula pills that will stop hair loss, and in combination with that use a low laser light therapy. And how much did that cost me? Well, it cost me $1,500, and there was no guarantee, so I couldn't return it. That being said, I know how much people act out of desperation when something like hair loss comes into your life, but just know that whatever company is trying to sell you something, and not just within the hair loss industry, but I'm talking about dentists, I'm talking about doctors, I'm talking about anything. They're all companies, so they need to make money, which means they're gonna try to sell you things that may not help you, but they need to sell it in order to make money. So they will try to convince you into buying things you may not necessarily need. So, and this also goes for influencers, because when companies can't reach their audience directly, they will go out and they will look at influencers within the different industries and give them sponsorships in order for them to reach their audiences. So when you're looking through these videos, be a little bit critical. Check the YouTubers that you're looking at and be like, okay, well, if they talk about hair loss and they have this one product that is the ultimate cure for hair loss, see how long they've used the product. Are they advertising a new product every week, every second week? How much time have they actually had to use these products before they advertise them? Because usually how it goes in influencer marketing is that a company will contact you. They will tell you what the objective of a collaboration is. You agree upon prospects and payments. Then the company will send the product and the information to the influencer. Then the influencer will make a video or like a post, if it's Instagram, whatever, for their audience, and advertise this product as being, this revolutionary thing. And in return, they will get money and they will get free products. And this is completely fine if they actually mean what they say, if they actually have used it and they're telling you the truth. But I watched countless YouTube videos where people promote products that they haven't used and they aren't even suffering from male pattern baldness. If you're suffering from male pattern baldness, no vitamins or special shampoo is going to cure it. It may be a good addition to your regimen, but it's never gonna be the one thing that's actually gonna get your hair back. What will get your hair back is Minoxidil, is Finasteride, Dutasteride. There are a bunch of different things that are FDA approved and actually have a long history of research to back it. Research can also be bought, so look at what kind of research these companies have. If they say clinical study shows that blah 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 blah, okay, well, how long ago was this study? Who funded the study? See what I'm saying? Anyways, I could talk about this point for hours in and out, so we're just gonna drop that. But know that you shouldn't make purchase decisions based on desperation. Always be critical. Number 4, do not quit treatment until you can see potential results. This is something that I've seen continuously throughout my hair loss journey, that the people who have the most negative attitude towards various treatments are the ones who gave up too early. And yes, there are people that have serious adverse effects from Finasteride and Minoxidil, but I'm talking about people that go out and say that Minoxidil doesn't work, Finasteride doesn't work, you know, spreading hate about Minoxidil and Finasteride. Although there's a small percentage of people that actually get adverse side effects, this is not very common. So when you dig a little bit deeper, these people have actually stopped taking medicine before they could see potential results. And as I said in my first video, is you need to have a lot of patience because this is not going to happen overnight. So medication will take about, I would say, anywhere between 6 and 9 months before you can actually see even potential results. So it'll take time, but the worst thing you can do is actually invest in yourself, putting your mind into starting a new hair loss treatment and then quitting too early. Because what that is going to do is, first of all, it's a waste of money, it's a waste of research, it's a waste of investment, but also it's a waste of time because now you've started something that you quit too early because you didn't have the patience to actually see it through all the way. So I would strongly recommend not to quit too early. Give it at least, I would say, 12 months to see if it works. Unless you're suffering from actual side effects, then you should stop completely. But I'm no doctor, so none of what I'm saying is medical advice. You always have to do your own research and consult a doctor before you use these medications. Point number 5, embarrassed to tell people you are dealing with hair loss. Don't make this mistake, and this one I hate. Because hair loss happens to so many of us, especially male pattern baldness. And when we're going through this, we feel so alone and we feel like no one understands us, but actually a lot of people have, or will have, or know someone that has gone through this. Within your friend group, there's definitely more than just you suffering from hair loss. It doesn't matter at what rate the hair loss is. So by talking about it, you'll be able to help each other, you'll be able to hold each other accountable. When you need to ventilate about how frustrating it is, you can do that to each other. So I highly recommend actually talking about it and opening up, because if everyone did, it wouldn't be such a taboo losing your hair. So remember, you're not alone. Don't keep it from your friends, and also share with your family, because if you have male pattern baldness, most likely your father or your mother's dad suffered from it as well. So there are always going to be people you can talk to and ask for advice. Point number 6, don't wait until the very last minute to get your prescriptions renewed. I'm very guilty of this, and it's because I go every 3 months and renew my Finasteride prescription. But what happened during Corona, which is like basically the entire time I've been on Finasteride, is that there aren't any available doctor's appointments. So what happened was I had to call around so many different clinics to ask if they had an emergency appointment available for me to renew my prescription. So at one point I had to wait over 6 weeks to get it done, which is so annoying. So just remember to always get it prescribed in time, because the doctors are not going to keep track on when your medication is running out. You're going to have to put that matter and responsibility into your own hands and take accountability for always having Finasteride at hand. But there are other services like Hims. They send out Finasteride and Minoxidil to your house whenever you need it renewed, which means you don't have to go and book a doctor's appointment, get your blood tested and all that, which is much more efficient. Because if you don't take Finasteride continuously, as soon as you discontinue taking it, you will start losing hair. Of course, it has a half-life of many hours, but if you wait long enough, all the medication is going to run out of your system. Point number 7. Not keeping a strict procedure for using your medication. Firstly, this is so you actually remember to take your medication where you're meant to take your medication. But also it's to make the hair loss journey for yourself as easy as possible. So what I do, I have a couple of prompts. I have my shaver that I use when I shave my hair once a week for my microneedle. I have my vitamins that I keep next to my Finasteride, so I take them once every night. And then I have my Minoxidil next to my toothbrush, which means that in the morning and at night when I brush my teeth, I also take my Minoxidil. So keep a solid routine for when you use your Finasteride, Minoxidil, and microneedling. Point number 8. Not getting involved with hair loss communities online. Okay, so a community on Reddit that I've consistently referred back to is Tressless. You should really check it out because their individuals post their hair loss journeys and experiences with using various forms and combinations of medication. You can usually see their before results, after results, people asking for advice, people giving advice. I've personally found so much advice and guidelines using this, so I would recommend that to anyone going through hair loss. Number 9, not taking progress pictures. This is so important. So since day one, I've taken photos at least once every 3 months. But it's really important to do because we're so subjective when it comes to hair loss. If you don't take any photos, you will consistently think in the back of your head, oh, is the medication working? Oh, well, I thought I had a little bit of hair that was thinning hair, but now it's even worse. Oh, I thought... You never have any reference to see where you've been and where you are at the moment. So I would always recommend taking a lot of photos, like a ridiculous amount. So I would take the crown, I would take the side, I would take the front. So you have something to refer back to when you're at your 2-week mark, your 1-month mark, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. So you can see the actual progress. This is also really good advice when you're talking to other people about hair loss. Then you have very concrete before and after photos that can showcase that what you're doing is actually working, or that it's not working. So don't forget to take a lot of photos. And the last point, give me a drum roll. Number 10, not entertaining the idea of going bald. One thing that I've noticed is that the people who suffer from hair loss, including myself, are the ones who associate themselves, their identity and their self-worth with their hair. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, because I personally think that hair has a lot of symbolism and it's a way that we can communicate to other people that we're healthy, we're young. But I also think it's very healthy to begin entertaining the thought of who would I be if I didn't have hair? Or who would I be if I constantly didn't think about my hair loss? What would I do during the days? Would I exercise more? What kind of characteristics does this person have? Because for a lot of us, hair loss takes up so much time and mental strength that just being liberated of that burden will free up so much time. I would actually encourage you to entertain the idea of, okay, but what if I'm going bald? And what if I accept my baldness? And I think if this sparks sort of like a positive, looking forward to feeling within, then I think you're coming more and more to terms with being bald. Maybe your hair loss, whether it improves or whether it goes downhill, is not going to affect you as a person because you are so much more than your hair. And as you know, like I tried going bald and it turns out I wasn't ready to do that, so I went back on my medication. That being said, remember that today there's no actual cure for hair loss, which means we are all fighting a battle that we are set up to lose. So we will just maintain our hair for as long as we keep fighting for it. And time is not on our side, and in 100 years we're all gonna die and people are not gonna be like, oh, remember Victor? He's the guy that didn't have any hair. No one is gonna care. People are gonna judge you and tell stories about you based on the things you've accomplished and left behind. So if hair loss is taking up way too much time and giving you loads of stress, I would recommend ransacking yourself and your priorities, and if you can detach yourself from your hair loss, still deal with it if that's what you want, but detach yourself, you will be much happier and the progress in your hair loss journey is not going to affect how you see yourself, and therefore it's not going to affect your output in the world. Do you have any additional mistakes based on your experience with hair loss that I didn't mention? Please let me know in the comments below and I'll make sure to reply. Thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope you found it somewhat useful and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.